a drink inspired in a classic margarita. I did a couple of tweaks. I added some tropical notes with pineapple and mango puree and habanero syrup. We're gonna start with some freshly squeezed lime juice. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce. We're also gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of habanero syrup. It's gonna give us a little bit of a heat at the end of the drink. If you don't like spice, you can always use regular syrup and that'll still be great. Half an ounce of pineapple juice. Half an ounce of mango puree. And 2 ounces of tequila. I'm using Don Julio for now, but you can use any tequila you want as long as it's 100% agave tequila. That's what I usually recommend. So 2 ounces of tequila. And we have these great hibiscus ice cubes. Use hibiscus tea with frozen hibiscus tea. And that's it, we're gonna shake. We're gonna shake for about 10 to 15 seconds. Just making sure the drink is nice and cold. And that's it, Tainted Daisy. Well, thanks for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the recipe. Cheers. Hola, welcome. Welcome to New Latin Wave Happy Hour. My name is Julio Xochocotla. I'm a bartender from New York City, and we'll be making 4 recipes to share with you so you can make at home to celebrate New Latin Wave Festival this weekend. Our next drink is called One Way to Oaxaca. It's a drink inspired in the flavors and aroma of the Mexican markets. Oaxaca is a small town in Mexico where most of the mezcal comes from. So for this drink, we're gonna use guava puree, 1 ounce of guava puree, 3/4 of an ounce of freshly squeezed lime. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of rosemary jalapeno syrup and 2 ounces of mezcal. This is Espadín from Santiago Matatlan. And that's it, we're ready to shake. We're gonna shake for about 10 to 15 seconds, just making sure the drink is nice and cold. There is a saying in Mexico that says that money, guavas, and love cannot be hidden, and that's because the guava has such an amazing aroma that anywhere you're close to a guava tree or you have guavas at home, you can smell them everywhere. We're gonna garnish the drink with rosemary sprig. Anytime we use an herb, I'm just making sure we're releasing all of the oils. And that's it. One Way to Oaxaca. Cheers. Hola, welcome. Welcome to New Latin Wave Happy Hour. My name is Julio Xochocotla. I'm a bartender from New York City, and we'll be making 4 recipes to share with you so you can make at home to celebrate New Latin Wave Festival this weekend. The next drink is it's a drink in honor of Prince. Vodka base, very refreshing, perfect for the summer, which is coming very soon to New York. So for this drink, we're gonna use 1.5 ounces of grapefruit vodka. You can use regular vodka, that's fine, as long as it's vodka, or if you like gin, that's also a nice substitution. Next, we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of basil and lemongrass syrup, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, and we're ready to shake. Just making sure the drink is nice and cold. Sounds good. Gonna add a little bit of ginger beer just to like add some fizziness to the drink. Ready to pour. Nice. But it seems like it's missing something very plain, very blank. Gonna add some butterfly pea flower tea on top. This is cold tea. It's like a nice and beautiful color. Gonna garnish it with some fresh basil and maybe a lime. And that's it. Vodka Prince. Salud. Hola, welcome. Welcome to New Latin Wave Happy Hour. My name is Julio Xochocotla. I'm a bartender from New York City, and we'll be making 4 recipes to share with you so you can make at home to celebrate New Latin Wave Festival this weekend. Our next drink is a take on a Manhattan, but it's slightly different. We're gonna do some Ancho Reyes. It's an ancho chili liqueur from Mexico, rum-based. It's a great a modifier if you ever want to use it for spicy drinks. This is great. So we're gonna do half an ounce of Ancho Reyes. Next, we're gonna use half an ounce of Averna. You can substitute Averna. If you don't have Averna, you can substitute it with most of any other Amaro, Ramazzotti, even with Cynar. We're gonna do half an ounce of sweet vermouth. In this case, we're using Carpano. 1.5 ounces of rye, Angostura bitters, and then we're gonna stir. So this time we're not shaking, we're just making sure the drink is nice and cold. Probably gonna stir for about 20 seconds. We're gonna let it chill for some time while we get our glass ready. Our glass, it's better if it's nice and cold. We're gonna do some scotch, like very smoky scotch. We're gonna garnish this drink with a dehydrated blood orange to make it look pretty. And seems like it's almost ready. It's nice and cold, ready to pour. This is it. The name of this drink is called Nova Days. Thank you for watching. Salud. Cheers. Hola, welcome. Welcome to New Latin Wave Happy Hour. My name is Julio Xochocotla. I'm a bartender from New York City, and we'll be making 4 recipes to share with you so you can make at home to celebrate New Latin Wave Festival this weekend. So we're gonna start with a Tainted Daisy. This is a drink inspired in a classic margarita. I did a couple of tweaks. I added some tropical notes with pineapple and mango puree and habanero syrup. We're gonna start with some freshly squeezed lime juice. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce. We're also gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of habanero syrup. It's gonna give us a little bit of a heat at the end of the drink. If you don't like spice, you can always use regular syrup and that'll still be great. Half an ounce of pineapple juice. Half an ounce of mango puree. And 2 ounces of tequila. I'm using Don Julio for now, but you can use any tequila you want as long as it's 100% agave tequila. That's what I usually recommend. So 2 ounces of tequila. And we have these great hibiscus ice cubes. Use hibiscus tea with frozen hibiscus tea. And that's it, we're gonna shake. We're gonna shake for about 10 to 15 seconds. Just making sure the drink is nice and cold. And that's it, Tainted Daisy. Well, thanks for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the recipe. Cheers. Hola, welcome. Welcome to New Latin Wave Happy Hour. My name is Julio Xochocotla. I'm a bartender from New York City, and we'll be making 4 recipes to share with you so you can make at home to celebrate New Latin Wave Festival this weekend. Our next drink is called One Way to Oaxaca. It's a drink inspired in the flavors and aroma of the Mexican markets. Oaxaca is a small town in Mexico where most of the mezcal comes from. So for this drink, we're gonna use guava puree, 1 ounce of guava puree, 3/4 of an ounce of freshly squeezed lime. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of rosemary jalapeno syrup, and 2 ounces of mezcal. This is Espadín from Santiago Matatlan. And that's it, we're ready to shake. We're gonna shake for about 10 to 15 seconds, just making sure the drink is nice and cold. There is a saying in Mexico that that says that money, guavas, and love cannot be hidden, and that's because the guava has such an amazing aroma that anywhere you're close to a guava tree or you have guavas at home, you can smell them everywhere. We're gonna garnish the drink with rosemary sprig. Anytime we use an herb, I'm just making sure we're releasing all of the oils, and that's it. One way to Oaxaca. Cheers. Hola, welcome. Welcome to New Latin Wave Happy Hour. My name is Julio Xochocotla. I'm a bartender from New York City, and we'll be making 4 recipes to share with you so you can make at home to celebrate New Latin Wave Festival this weekend. The next drink is it's a drink in honor of Prince. Vodka base, very refreshing, perfect for the summer, which is coming very soon to New York. So for this drink, we're gonna use 1.5 ounces of grapefruit vodka. You can use regular vodka, that's fine, as long as it's vodka. Or if you like gin, that's also a nice substitution. Next, we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of basil and lemongrass syrup, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, and we're ready to shake. Making sure the drink is nice and cold. Sounds good. Gonna add a little bit of ginger beer just to add some fizziness to the drink. Ready to pour. Nice. But it seems like it's missing something very plain, very blank. Gonna add some butterfly pea flower tea on top. This is cold tea. It's like a nice and beautiful color. Gonna garnish it with some fresh basil and maybe a lime. And that's it. Vodka Prince. Salud. Hola, welcome. Welcome to New Latin Wave Happy Hour. My name is Julio Xochocotla. I'm a bartender from New York City, and we'll be making 4 recipes to share with you so you can make at home to celebrate New Latin Wave Festival this weekend. Our next drink is a take on a Manhattan, but it's slightly different. We're gonna do some Ancho Reyes. It's an ancho chili liqueur from Mexico, rum-based. It's a great a modifier if you ever want to use it for spicy drinks. This is great. So we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of Ancho Reyes. Next, we're gonna use 1/2 ounce of Averna. You can substitute Averna. If you don't have Averna, you can substitute it with most of any other Amaro, Ramazotti, even with Cynar. We're gonna do 1/2 ounce of sweet vermouth. In this case, we're using Carpano. 1.5 ounces of rye. Angostura bitters. And then we're gonna stir. So this time we're not shaking, we're just making sure the drink is nice and cold. Probably gonna stir for about 20 seconds. We're gonna let it chill for some time while we get our glass ready. Our glass, it's better if it's nice and cold. We're gonna do some scotch, like very smoky scotch. We're gonna garnish this drink with a dehydrated blood orange to make it look pretty. And seems like it's almost ready. It's nice and cold, ready to pour. This is it. The name of this drink is called No Bad Days. Thank you for watching. Salud. Cheers.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to New Latin Wave. But this is Richard Villegas from Song Mess, your favorite indie music podcast with a focus on Latin American music, especially the Latin American underground. Support indie, support local, y'all. And here we are at New Latin Wave. Bringing you some music, bringing you some interesting conversations. Today, I am joined by Adele Fournet and Felipe Wurst of Tipa, Tipo, which is a fabulous band based in Brooklyn with a history in Peru. And we're going to be getting into all of that today. So please welcome my guests, Adele and Felipe.
Hey.
Hey, y'all.
What it is.
Yeah, what's up? Thanks for having us.
Just a quick advisory for the watchers and the listeners. It's hot as hell out here in Mexico City, so I got my little fan on. And I guess you guys are freezing out there because I see no sweaters.
Yeah, I wish we could interchange some of that. Yeah, get some of the heat.
Oh, ciao. Come visit. Actually, don't. Let's wait.
Yeah, let's wait.
But anyway, so shout out to everybody watching and listening. And again, thank you so much to Tipa Tipo for joining me today. So let's start the way that I start literally every single interview that I've ever done. Who are you and what is it that you do?
Well, we are Tipa Tipo, Adele and Felipe. We're musicians, we're producers, and with this new project, we're making kind of like retro 70s soft rock throwback music in Spanish.
Yeah,
so that's kind of like our new concept, and that's what we're up to.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening, because I like to listen to the music right before we get into the conversation, and I was really kind of vibing. I was growing. I'm not like the slow groovy type, but it's just like as I'm like setting up the interview, I'm like, all right, I'm getting into it. And like one of the descriptions I read is like California yacht rock, and that really took me somewhere.
Nice.
So I want to get into y'all's history and the history of the band, and we'll progress as we go. So first of all, I asked before we even started recording if you were both Peruvian, because I know that the band kind of has roots out in Peru. But you're not. So let's start with that and how you all met, and then the musical progression.
Totally.
Yeah.
You wanna do it?
Yeah. So Adele and I met in Peru, and back in 2009, and then we started making music right away.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been playing under like a couple of band names, and we lived there in Peru like for maybe like 2 years. We were like kind of like participating in these like kind of like experimental pop like festivals, and like creating a scene there. And at some point we moved to New York. Adele is from the US. I'm from Peru. And so then we kept like making music, and we kept diving deeper into like the music world. Like Adele did a PhD, and she started like participating in a few different projects. Like I also started participating in different projects, and after a while, I kind of like we started like kind of we came to that moment in which like, oh, like I really love this music. I really love this 70s music. Like it brings me, it reminds me of like my dad listening to that music. Strangely in Peru, right? Like, but he would blast the radio. And, and I've always liked it. So then as I was learning more like about like recording music and producing music, that has always been like kind of like my go-to, like the one that really touches like something. And so, and I was like at night sometimes like also Adele and I are married.
Yes.
By the way,
because like, I was gonna say like, because sometimes like at night I like to listen to some music, and like we put a splitter on the phone and like, hey, they're like, yeah, I have a playlist for tonight, like, and I'll put some and I'll be like, like this music, like how is it recording, like all the arrangements, like I love it. And she was like, yeah, I love this too, like this is so like fucking awesome. And then we like came to learn that like both our parents listen to, I mean, of course, like that's kind of like the music of their generation.
Of course.
And and even globally, because I was always, I mean, I had all kinds of expectations when I first moved to Peru, like 10 years ago, like what kind of music people would have been listening to, and I just was so off because I didn't understand kind of like the global export of North American like pop and, you know, just like the truly globalized nature of that. And so I was so impressed by Felipe's like encyclopedic knowledge of 70s soft rock bands. I was like, wow. Hey.
I mean, it'd be on the radio, that is for damn sure. I mean, I grew up, you know, listening to a lot of that music. I grew up in the Dominican Republic, and so like, you know, a lot of pop definitely sort of like filtered down, and you know, that 70s sort of soft rock, my parents loved it, you know, so I'm not a stranger to it.
It's an interesting mix.
Like, absolutely.
Like having like the music of the place that you are, like but also like Michael Jackson is playing, like you're in the jungle and like Michael Jackson is playing.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to any remote village and people will absolutely know who Michael Jackson is and was.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So let's go. So So this is the music that you're vibing to. This is the music that like shaped you. Adele, at what point do you move to Peru? What drove that major transition?
That's a big transition. Well, I was like, I've always had sort of a double path in music, like being a musician and a producer, but then also being sort of like a scholar academic of music, background in ethnomusicology. And I ended up doing this research project on like female rock musicians in Peru.
Okay.
And then it evolved into like, I started playing with this all-female percussion ensemble called Barrio Paula. And I don't know, I just sort of like, kind of like became myself as a musician in Lima, which was just a really cool experience. Like sort of, I don't know, coming of age in another country, you know, and ended up meeting Felipe and teaching at the university. And so, yeah, it was really kind of like a part like musical, but part academic kind of reason. And then I just, you know, fell in love in multiple ways. And and
I think that the music scene in Lima embraced Adele. Like suddenly Adele was playing in a bunch of projects. It felt like
there was this like very palpable need for keyboard players. Like there was like there was like lots of guitar players and bassists, but we're like, you play the keyboard? Oh my God, synth, yes.
We need some keyboards. We need some synths.
Okay, so before we go on, this is where the mess in the song mess comes in, because you know we are living in a post Rompan Todo world, where Peru was literally reduced to Los Icos. And and women were largely reduced to a 20-minute segment in the last episode. So since you went to let's say research women in rock down in Peru, please drop some knowledge. And actually, obviously, Felipe, you're Peruvian. Drop some knowledge about rock icons, women in rock in Peru. I would love to be able to, you know, spread the knowledge.
Oh my gosh. I mean, so basically, like, I went originally looking more like the rock, like rockers, like Aria Siete, Verónica, ¿cómo se llama? Verónica, ella toca theremin también.
Oh, right. I don't know if I know her last name.
¿Cómo se llama? Bueno.
Was she a part of a band?
Yeah. She it was like Verónica y los gatos. No me acuerdo, pero voy a buscar. Pauchi Sasaki, you probably know Pauchi, maybe. She's like a really amazing, like experimental, like electronic violin, but also goes like hard into like electronics. Our friend Lala, she has an amazing project.
Of course.
Alejandro y Maria Laura, Lorena Bloom, and then, oh my gosh.
Galabrie. I mean, now there's a bunch.
But I'm trying to think more like rock.
I mean, I think that's a great place to start, though.
Yeah.
For, like, again, for you know, like, because for example, like I'm pretty well versed in Latin indie stuff or whatever, but like el rock en español and all that jazz, like I didn't necessarily grow up with that. So like, I definitely went to that documentary being like, oh, let me learn. So I think you've just dropped quite a few names that anybody watching or listening can definitely go.
There's a lot.
Research.
A lot. Yeah.
Of course there are. We should do a playlist. Yeah.
Yeah. I always tell people, just because you don't know any doesn't mean they don't exist.
Oh my gosh. Precisely. Yeah.
There's a bunch of unsung heroes for sure.
Absolutely. That's literally the bane of my work. So what triggers that move?
La banda se llama Valium.
Okay, good.
So I was kind of still continuing this path of being an ethnomusicologist, and I ended up applying to do grad school at NYU. Sure. And I got it. So it was kind of like, well, we have this big opportunity to go back, for me to go back to the US and for Felipe to come to the US. And it kind of sped our relationship along a little bit, in terms of moving in together and getting married and all of that stuff. So that was sort of the initial reason, but then also a lot of the music that we were into at the time was sort of based in Brooklyn. We were into the kind of Dirty Projectors, St. Vincent-esque indie rock scene. So it was kind of going to the source of that too, and just sort of seeing what was up and doing a lot of learning.
So where does Humanimals stop and then Tipa Tipo begin?
Oh, there's a gap between Humanimals and Tipa Tipo.
Okay.
But the important thing is that we have always collaborated within music. Sometimes under the umbrella of a name for our duo, like Humanimals. When we moved to Brooklyn, we actually changed the name just to.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was also we were really, Humanimals was really like a band, like us and two other people.
Yeah, right.
Bruno Sanchez and Sebastián Apollinario, who were also living in Lima. And we moved with Sebastián also moved to Brooklyn. But after a while, he really just went in the direction of production and sound design. Sure. And we were going in the direction of more gigging live and playing in other people's bands. And so when we finally were re-establishing the project now, we were we really need a new name, because we considered picking up Humanimals where we had left off, but it just didn't really feel like the same music. It didn't feel like the same vibe. It didn't feel like a band anymore. It really felt like a project of a duo, and as producers, and so a new name, new thing.
Well, and with all of the new, I mean, there's a new era coming. I believe there's an EP, I'm sorry, coming towards the summer. It's called El Chari. Tell us about, what you've been cooking up.
Yeah, so we started maybe in 2018, kind of very slowly. I got a cassette recorder. And so I was kind of wanting to start recording to tape, and that's what I had at the moment, or that's what I got in the moment, and started recording, and we started having so much fun with it. We did a residency upstate for maybe 4 days. We finished a couple of songs, and that really kicked us back in the groove.
Amazing.
And sharing with some friends and having positive response, and it was our first time where we were singing in Spanish. So when we were in Lima, we were singing in English, and now living in the US, we're singing in Spanish. Just how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I live. I mean, the dynamics of language are so fascinating, especially in Latin music, because many artists and many bands often feel pressure to sing in English because I mean, there's so much that one can unpack there.
Of
Oftentimes
course, yeah.
you're ignored at home, and so like you're just trying to try your shot abroad, or that we consume a lot of media, whether it's music, film, or television in English. So like that's sort of how our creative language develops. I'm interested about your relationship to language, because as you said, again, if you were singing in Spanish when you like, I mean, yes, you're American, but like the rest of the band, I feel confident in saying we're all Peruvian. And then now you're singing in Spanish. Tell us about like that sort of like fluctuation of language.
Well, it's interesting because when we were in Peru, I remember, and you can speak to this more, like Felipe had this like thing against like lyrics in Spanish. Like, or you would always be like, it's so hard, or like, or there's too many like, I don't know, like stereotypes or cliches. I guess that it came from this sort of like rock en español, like, oh, this sounds too much like this one genre.
Sure.
And didn't like, it felt like a lot of these other genres were like pigeonholed into English. And now I feel like there's a lot more space to be like, no, all of these different genres can be in different languages. And there isn't this like hegemony of English.
Yeah, I mean, I think like similarly, I think exactly what you said. It is like, it was coming from listening to like a bunch of music in English. It got hard for me to imagine the same music in Spanish. And sometimes like I will try to like write in Spanish but then suddenly I will like feel like, oh, it's sounding like this other thing that I'm not going for. I don't know, like, oh, like suddenly like this sounds kind of like Luis Miguel, but I'm not exactly going for that vibe. I mean, not to say anything about it, just I was like not exactly what I was looking for.
No, El Sol de México is El Sol de México. We don't mess with
that.
I
mean, exactly. It has a place in my heart.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cuando calienta el sol, that's why I'm out here with a fan.
I know. I have like great memories.
I understand what you're saying, because it I feel like songwriting in Spanish can be much, not more so, but it's very poetic.
Super.
And like I feel like it's not as easy to write like a flippant or sort of very light pop song, or again, maybe it is just that our ears have developed in such a way.
I think it has to be like I think for me it had a relationship to like familiarity, like, and I think like it was just like I needed to like keep trying and just like be less judgmental and be like, I like this. Like at some point I was like, I fucking like this.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think like, and also our relationship became like so like fluid with like languages. Yeah, and you know what? Like sometimes like when you live like away from home, like you start missing your place, and so so like that kind of like it reversed like my feelings, like growing up like in Peru, but like getting to be enamored by this music that was like outside of Peru. That kind of made me have this like, oh, like I would love to be like close to that music that like it's so like appealing to me. Well, then we got the opportunity to be in New York and live there, and then I was there. But then, like my house, like my people, like my language, like so it kind of like I mean, in a way, like you close the circle. Like it made me like, I don't know, like, just like
it's a new way of appreciating. I mean, that until you've lived it, you just don't appreciate it the same way.
Yeah.
So going back to El Chari, which by the way, what does that mean? I'm imagining it's a Peruvian word, and I'm missing it somewhere.
Actually, it's the nickname that I used to call my dad, and so we wanted to dedicate this EP to my dad because that's why I started listening to this kind of music. And my dad passed away very recently, like a month away.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, but like, so I wanted to like then dedicate. I mean, I was always like while making this album, like these songs, I was very excited, like kind of like sharing like that we're making like this album that you're really gonna like. So yeah, I feel a little sad that like he didn't get to like he got to see part of it. Like
Sure.
I'll be on calls with him, like hey, like I'm editing like music video, like not editing, like coloring, and I got to like explain it. But so that's a tribute. That's the name is like, that's a nickname that I would call my dad. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I mean, and it's wonderful that now this album will have even, you know, that added significance. You know, it's a tribute. It's, you know,
it's a tribute. Yeah, it's totally a tribute. Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's an opportunity to share this milestone for the band with, you know, just something a bit more personal, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
I want to continue talking about El Chari because there's a single coming out, I think, right after New Latin Wave is done.
Exactly.
Or well,
March 12th.
March 12th.
Yeah, so
like,
it's out.
Right inside.
Okay, dope. Okay, so
Born Within.
Voy por ella. And it also has a really lovely music video, which I could totally tell was shot in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I may not be at home, but I know my so tell us about the song and tell us about this video.
Yeah, oh my gosh, we're really, really excited about sharing it and getting to play at New Latin Wave, and it's really awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's one of the first songs, like, so we've been really moving in this direction of producing more for like a couple of years, like starting by working with other artists, and now we're working in a studio with our friend Will, and like we started pretty much like a year and a half ago in our own studio space, which was cool. And it has an electric piano, which is very much like the Wurlitzer and Rhodes sound of the 70s. And
sure.
Yeah, that was a song.
Yeah, it definitely has that.
Yeah.
It has that.
Smooth. It's smooth.
It's very that.
And I was listening to this Hall & Oates song that's I Can't Go For That. I don't know if you know it. It's a classic. Yeah. And I was like kind of listening to the chords, and it has this really interesting change from like minor to major in the pre-chorus, and I was kind of playing around with that, modifying it, and then this whole, like the entire chorus of Voy por ella just like came to me in like 5 minutes.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, it came to me in Spanish, but it was Voy por esa, like I go for that thing, that female thing, and Felipe was like, maybe you should change that to ella. So it's a little better, you know, phrasing.
We definitely like humanization.
Yeah. But it was very much one of those like, record it, get the parts. Like I'd already had this drum loop, and it was a really quick one, which I think sometimes those are the best ones because you're not overthinking it and it just sort of comes.
Yeah, it's groovy, it's vibey. There's other great songs on there that you, dear watchers and listeners, you'll be able to enjoy at a later date. I really am quite partial to Morir Bailando. I really like that song. And I forget the name of the closer, which I really, really like.
Llamada Prohibida.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I really like that one. I was fully like, again, I was prepping for the interview, setting up the ring light, doing the whole nine. And so definitely that. We are approaching the end of this conversation, but I do have a couple more questions for you all, because you both have a number of parallel projects that I think are quite interesting. I would like to start with you, Adele. I would like you to tell us a bit about Bit Rosie.
Yeah. That ties it back to the video thing too. So Bit Rosie is like kind of was born out of my dissertation research. I was like really into this, always been into the question of gender, very feminist approach to music. And a big like question for me was like, where are the female producers? Where are the female engineers? You know, why is technology so gendered? And so I created this web series about female and gender nonconforming producers and engineers. I learned how to like produce and record and edit video, and then it kind of just evolved into this company with audio and video production. So we also did the music video for Voy por ella, and we're affiliated with the studio that we're in. And yeah, it's just sort of this evolving platform, very much putting forward a more like inclusive, gender equitable music industry. That's my goal. That's my MO. So that's what Bit Rosie is about.
Absolutely. And you said you developed a web series.
Yes.
For where can people watch it?
Yes.
Because I find that question fascinating. And I would like you to also tell us just maybe briefly, because if it was the subject of your dissertation, I'm sure you could go on for hours about it.
I can.
But like, as to that question of like, why is music so gendered, and technology and all that jazz?
Yeah. I mean, it's a really big question, obviously. So BitRosie, you can go to bitrosie.com. You can look for BitRosie on YouTube, and it's like, talk about like women in the Lima music scene. There's also a bunch of producers on there that you can check out, and engineers and live sound people and all that. I think it comes down to a lot of things, obviously, but I think one of the big things that I was looking at was like, oh my God, I could go on forever, but reproductive labor, just like, it's a freelance field that's already like very male dominated, but then there's a lot of women that like, if they ever want to have a family, this is a very precarious like working environment. So it kind of comes down to this larger question of like how we deal with reproductive labor in relation to freelance work.
Sure.
And I'll leave it at that, but you can read my dissertation if you want to.
Yes. And again, you know, the web series is available at bitrosie.com. So hey, you all have homework for once we were done here. And, and you can log off and go get into that. Felipe, I would love to talk about some of your parallel projects. I know that you play with La Mecánica Popular, which is a band that has played once, maybe twice before at New Latin Wave. And Jackery or Hakari, I'm not entirely sure how that's pronounced.
Jackery, we call it, yeah.
Okay, I've seen Jackery live.
No way.
At like in like Park Slope or something like that. It was like in a tiny like it wasn't quite a dive. It was too nice to be a dive, but it was like. But
it's
it was
Park Slope.
Yeah, it was like a jazz club or something, and like I remember like a friend was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go see this band," and I just went, and I was fully like, "Oh, it's all right." I didn't know the band then, but like the name stuck with me. So yeah, tell us about you know performing with again with La Mecánica Popular and with Jackery.
So I was lucky to reconnect with Efraín from La Mecánica, which also went to NYU with Adele. So they were in the same music program. So we started bonding over music, and Adele actually also has played with La Mecánica.
Oh, the family.
So I started watching La Mecánica like as an audience, and at some point, Efraín invited me to like play guitar for a couple of shows, and we really bonded together. And we started like getting together and listening to like Miles Davis and like the electric era, and like all these like concepts that he was having about like just kind of like take like all the precepts, or like whatever, like just breaking apart like our concepts of rhythm and like what is Latin.
Sure.
And so then like we started like collaborating. We did this album Rosa Cruz, which was a great experience. And so that's with La Mecánica, and with Jackery, like I actually met Zach working at a coffee shop, like in New York. Like in the first years, I worked at a coffee shop for a couple of years, and he also was there, and we bonded over like listening to Dirty Projectors. So like he was like, "Oh, you like that band?" Like, and I showed him like a video that I have of me like playing Temecula Sunrise, and he was super impressed. Like, holy shit, dude, you have to be in my band. And I was like, and then like so we went to this show like one day to see our neighbor. And then I see Zach, and like, "Oh, are you gonna play there?" And so like I stay for sax, and like I was like just like
he was smitten.
You know, like I was like, holy shit, like, this is incredible. Like, and I saw the people around me, everybody was like enjoying it. So I was so impressed. And then so like because of that Temecula Sunrise video, he was like, yeah, play with me, like, and I was I always enjoy playing with them.
It makes him very into groove. Like I feel like our music has also, it's like taking the meticulousness of like being into like things being tight and groovy and like locked in. been something that
Yeah.
we've kind of like tried to learn.
Yeah, and it's a scene also because like actually through all of like they are like an indirect part of Tipa Tipo as well. Like for example,
Of course.
our like Zach plays bass in a few songs in our EP. The drummer from Jackery has played quite a few of our tracks. The love for recording to tape also.
Oh, from Efraín.
From Efraín,
yeah.
like recording Rosa Cruz was to tape. I fell in love with recording to tape, and Zach is also into recording to tape. So like all of that like started to like creep into our music creativity. So yeah.
And it's interesting because when I think of, because I did see while I did see Jackery, I'm actually more familiar with La Mecánica's sound. And like when I think of La Mecánica, I think of other bands like Los Pirañas or Meridian Brothers, and that kind of like weirdo cumbia experimental universe. And I do hear certain elements of that in Tipa Tipo, and just like again, they're kind of like very tight, very fast, sort of like kind of grooves, like which I like, and it's less electronic than I would have expected. It feels very just organic, very lived in. It feels like a jazz band that's not making jazz at all.
There's like all of our experiences are kind of like in there. Like,
and that's like definitely a big thing. We like this record is very analog, like it's live musicians, not in the box at all, really. Like just that was really something that meant a lot to us. Just kind of getting the played quality. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's really it, and I really hope that the watchers and the listeners and everybody at New Latin Wave definitely comes through, checks y'all's out. I would like you all to share, and actually, I think this will also be an episode of Song Mess. So please, shout out to all of y'all tuning in. But please let our listeners and watchers know where they can find you all on social media, where they can stream your music, and hopefully your music will be available on Bandcamp so that they can go and purchase it.
Yes.
And put money straight into your pocket.
Yes, Bandcamp all the way. Yeah, so we're on Instagram, Tipa Tipo Music, Facebook, same, Tipa Tipo Music, and on Spotify, we're Tipa Tipo. And we are planning to release our EP on Bandcamp, which will be coming in the summer. So keep an eye out for that. So the singles will be streaming before that, and then we'll be dropping our EP on Bandcamp. Yeah.
Amazing. And again, the single is Voy por ella, which will be out March 12th. Yep. So everybody run out, check it out. Again, like my guests are Adele Fournet and Felipe Wurst. I think you told me to say Wurst, but I keep insisting on the Wurst, and I'm sorry.
No, you're saying me totally right. Yeah, I would like be like somebody call my name.
And I'll remind everybody watching and listening that I'm Richard Villegas, and that this is Song Mess for New Latin Wave. A shout out to the New Latin Wave family for always thinking of us and inviting me once again to have a wonderful chat. Anybody that's new to Song Mess, remember that you can listen to our quite ample catalog of episodes on your favorite podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Deezer, SoundCloud, probably Grindr, Christian Mingle. Just look for us there. And then same on social media, everything at Song Mess. And there's always more of that spiel, but I'll keep it brief today. Again, thank you so much to Tipa Tipo. Thank you so much to New Latin Wave. Again, I'm Richard Villegas. This is Song Mess, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
everybody. Hey, welcome to our set. We're Tipa Tipo. I'm Adele. This is Felipe.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us at New Latin Wave Festival. We're super excited to be part of this amazing platform, amazing organization. And that last song we just played is called Llamada Prohibida. We're going to do kind of like a two-part set today. We have more of this acoustic version with our drum machine, and then we're going to also do like 3 with our friend Joel on drums. So this next track we're going to do with Joel. This one is called Voy por ella, which is one of our singles, and it's a song about love at first sight in Lima, Peru, where we met. Very personal. All right, so this is Voy por ella.
So this next song is called No Quiero Más de Ti. I'm done with you. I don't want anything else. And sometimes you need to come to that realization. This song is about the day that you come to that realization. Here it comes.
So that was No Quiero Más de Ti. The next track we're going to do is called Morir Bailando. I feel like this is another Sunglasses song. And this is a track that I wrote about the idea of dancing every day of your life until you die. One of the lines in the chorus is Quiero ser la vieja que se muere bailando. I want to be the old woman who dies dancing. And that's like my life goal. So, morir bailando.
Amen.
As my mom would say, a women.
I like that better.
All right. We're going to do one from... it's one of our new songs. It's going to come out like later this year. We have like our first EP, which will be coming out in June. Our singles are already up. One of our singles is already up. It came out yesterday. You can follow us on all the streaming platforms, wherever you listen to music. And then this is one that Felipe wrote. It's sort of reminiscent of our older, more indie rock style. You want to say something about it?
Dos al azar. Two at random. And this is one for all the people who take a chance on a relationship, on a new relationship. And when you're at that moment, you don't know if it's gonna work, if it's gonna be worth your time. So yeah, this is a lullaby for all the people who takes a chance.
Thanks for taking a chance on me.
My pleasure.
Dos deciden volar sin mucho preparar y se van a caer y volver a cantar, listos a saltar. No puedo apostar que van a llegar, dos van al azar. Dos deciden viajar sin lugar a llegar y solo van a seguir ese impulso vital, listos a saltar. No puedo apostar que van a llegar, dos van al azar, listos a saltar. No puedo apostar que van a llegar, dos van al azar.
All right. Thanks again for joining us and for checking out New Latin Wave. We're really excited to be part of such a cool festival. And we're going to close with a cover by one of our favorite soft rock bands from the 70s, sort of like electric piano driven pop rock. I don't know, anything else you want to add?
Just to share that Adele and I have in common a passion for soft rock, and at some point we figured that both our parents listened to the same music. Well, she was growing up in the U.S. and me growing up in Peru, where I'm from, and I think that's a big influence for the music that we make, even though we put our other spices in there. Soft rock and 70s kind of type of production is something that really appeals to us. So we want to share this song with you.
Yeah, no, I'll just say that we're here in our studio in Brooklyn, and we have a record coming out. We already have some songs up on Spotify and streaming platforms, and yeah, that's just really what like we were going for, is more of this like retro pop, sort of 70s inflected music, but in Spanish, because we were like, there's not a lot of that happening, so we're really excited to explore that.
Well, also like, then I don't have to think about pronunciation, so
just
like
I do.
She's better. She's way better.
All right, so this is we're not even going to tell you the band because you're going to figure it out. Just the song with the hardest words ever, the most adjectives and adverbs in the history of music. So it's like.
When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful. A miracle, it was beautiful, magical. And all the birds in the trees, they were singing so happily, joyfully, playfully, watching me. And then they sent me away to teach me how to be sensible, logical, or responsible, practical. And they showed me a world where I could be so dependable, clinical, intellectual, cynical. There are times when all the world's asleep, my questions run too deep for such a simple man. Won't you please, please tell me what we've learned?
Won't you tell me?
I know it sounds absurd.
Won't you please,
Please tell me who I am. Watch what you say, or they'll be calling you a radical, a liberal, a fanatical criminal. Won't you sign up your name? We like to see you're acceptable, respectable, or presentable, a vegetable. Take it, take it. There are times when all the world's asleep, my questions run too deep for such a simple man. Won't you please, please tell me what we've learned?
won't you tell me?
I know it sounds absurd.
Won't you please,
Please tell me who I am. Who I am. Who I am. Who I
Nice. That one's really fun to play. Well, that's our set. We're Tipa Tipo. Thanks for joining us, and we'll hope you'll check us out on the interwebs. Have a good day. Ciao. Adios, amigos. Yeah, it's a live stream. Bye.